Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to the evening of Elets National PSU Summit, which is a fifth annual edition of this prestigious conclave of PSUs, gathering of top leaders of top PSUs of India at one platform, which is Elets National PSU Summit. And we are very, very happy and we are honored and glad that we are having a special address by none other than a visionary person, Mr. Ravi Agrawal, who is Executive Director of Marketing in GAIL India Limited. He is a person behind the great revival of energy sector in Rajasthan. Also worked really wonderful work in Rajasthan when he was managing director of Rajasthan State Gas Limited. And we are very sure that the similar services he's giving to GAIL India in Delhi now, full-fledged services, and we look forward that he will keep doing great things and getting great innovations like he has done in his previous jobs. And we are very honored that Mr. Ravi is here. I request Mr. Ravi Agrawal that to give a special address, and his address will be focusing on the road ahead for PSUs to boost industrialization and in meeting the socio-economic aspirations of people. So on this topic, he will be speaking. So we will be hearing for next 15 minutes, Mr. Ravi Agrawal. Welcome, sir. स्वागत है आपका.
Thank you, Mr. Karthik. And good evening, Dr. Ravi Gupta, the founder and the CEO of the Elets. And all good evening, Mr. Karthik and the distinguished members. This is a big honor for me to be speaking on this particular occasion. When the stage was set for India to take the various reforms towards the direction of achieving the $5 trillion economy by 2024, that we have faced the corona pandemic and which has impacted badly to the health and also the economy. But every crisis gives the opportunity. And so this corona also has given us the opportunity to revisit our systems, that what we were following it, to restructure the present processes, and then how India has taken up the very active role in the stage of the corona. And most of the sectors, be it the manufacturing sector or oil and the gas sectors, they are now almost able to come up to the pre-corona stage. But now when we say it, to become the 5 trillion economy by 2024, it is still looking a very dream project. And what we need to do it, the one is surely the consumption sector is impacted. And so there is a time that we need to integrate the consumption sector focus to the export oriented focus. So in the China, when the China is now not becoming so attractive destination for the globe, Indian industries have to play a proactive role in getting the attention from those industries who have invested in the China and to become the investment zone for this particular point. So this is the one sector. And when we talk about the role of the public sector as such, so when the public sectors were formed at that particular time, the profitability was not the key issue. And at that time, it was that okay, the socio-economic aspirations of the people were required to be met. The overall development of the country, where the remote locations are there, those were supposed to be connected, and through the various infrastructure thrust. The time has come when the aim of the public sector has been shifted to the profitability, and the many private sectors, they started investing in from non-strategic areas and also the strategic areas. So how before the corona, the time was there when the government were taking the initiatives for opening up the strategic zones to the strategic areas to the private companies also. But now, again, the thrust is now shifted again, where a public sector has to play an important role. Now, if we say that disinvestment of the public sector, where all the people are losing the job, it has to be there, but it has to take a systematic approach, where the public sector now has to play the threefold aims. One is to boost the socio-economics. systematic planning of the industrial clusters, and becoming a facilitator for the disinvestment or for the private investments. To make it the very clear, I will give you an example that if a particular sector reforms takes place, it is not going to suffice the need unless it is integrated, all sectors are integrated and towards the achieving the common goal. Say the many sectors where reforms were taken place for the oil and gas. Suppose that in the recent past you have found that a lot of the CGD initiatives were taken, where the in the ninth and 10th bid round about number of the cities were announced by the PNGRB which could penetrate the 70% of the populations. Many investment zones were created by the each and every state. Number of the ease of the doing the business initiatives were taken by the government. But when we take about the implementation path and where we stand as of today, you will find that the very purpose the reforms were taken, we are far behind as per the implementation of those initiatives are concerned. So where and what we need to do. Suppose if like a oil and the gas sector reforms are available, then you need to have the pipeline infrastructure is in place which can cater the need of the industries, big plants like a fertilizer, power plants, and the petrochemicals. If that is not done, the investment for the infrastructure, pipeline infrastructure cannot be justified. Number two, if those infrastructures are required to be justified, then it has to be synchronization with the industries. They are able to take up the gas at the time when the infrastructure is ready. So there has to be a synchronization. Now suppose if the industries like a ceramic industries which are playing a big role in the Rajasthan itself, they are looking for the consumer driven economy, and from where the consumer will come, from the real estate, and from where the real estate will come, that depending upon that how that we are creating a ease of the business and we are able to speed up the economy, our consumer driven economy for that particular place. So all sectorial activities are connected. Now what we need to do, the public sectors which has invested a lot of the investment, they have done it, they are required to become a catalyst. Government, instead of weakening the public sector as of today, they have to strengthen the public sector for some time, where slowly the private sectors are also holding the hand, and where the public sectors are taking up the role. Now the bigger how this is to be happen is through the digitalization, where a global level digitalization is not in place as of today. For example, there's a master plan created by the state government, and those are to be digitalized, where that one can understand in the bigger umbrella who are the policy makers deciding at the global level, that how the master plan is implemented and how the industries are coming up. And there has to be some kind of the enabling factors which are required to be generated, so that the required industries comes in the faster way. Each and every sectors, they are connected. Now we have to make a twofold policy. We have to make a consumer driven policy, and we have to make it the export oriented policy, so that the jobs can be created in the time to come for the young generations. If we are looking for a 5 trillion economy, the aspirations of the big middle class people are the persons who are to become a middle class. Their aspirations are required to be met. In this connections, then there has to be a bigger umbrella reform policy, a bigger umbrella meeting is to be a body is to be constituted under the group of the ministers, which has to be involving the investors and other renowned strategists on the particular sectors, consumers. And below that there would be a subgroups which is involving the catalyst, which is involving to generate the various inputs for the bigger umbrella. Unless and until if that thing is done, you will be finding that we are taking up the one step forward, like we have put up the infrastructure in the gas infrastructure, around 14,000 of the around 17,000 kilometers of the pipeline infrastructure is in place. 16,000 of the pipeline infrastructure is going to happen in a very soon, which is going to make the dream of the pan India gas network available in a time to come. But if at the one hand, but the other hand, if you see that there's a percentage utilization of the pipeline infrastructure is as low as the 16% to 18%. If this in this kind of the sector, if it is open up to the private sectors, you will be finding it that there will not be the much of the investment return out of this. Then per se the industries based on those particular infrastructure will not be able to synchronize the requirement, and we will not be able to pace the required goal which the India is pursuing. So India has to the government has to adopt a one particular company in a one particular sectorial area, which will give the hand holding for the disinvestment and for the strategic partners to chip in. If we don't do it, if we don't do it in a combinedly and in a bigger umbrella fashion, we would be finding at one particular time a lot of infrastructure has been created, a lot of reforms has been taken place, but those reforms are not being implemented in the time to come. So this is the one of my opinion. Other opinion, like suppose for the say for the government of the Rajasthan, depending upon the abundant natural resources, proximity to the states, and excellent law and order conditions, but you will feel it that the number of the investment zones which were created, like say suppose the Giloth, which was created for creating the ceramic zone, Bikaner for creating the ceramic zone, you will be finding those investment zones are not able to get the pace which was desired from the by the government. The reason being is so that there are the total uniform umbrella from the central and the state. It is to be connected. If the ceramic industries are there, they have to be given a free some kind of the utilities, some kind of the arrangement is to be done to the industries, giving the some affordable loans, and there has to be seen that a particular zone is completed in all respect, maybe in the terms of the utility corridor where the telecom services are available. Workers need to be employed. The bigger challenges for the corona is that the so many people they have left for the villages. They are required to be brought in to the mainstream. Not only or to be required to be brought into the mainstream, they are required to be trained. And then who is going to deploy such kind of the people? If you feel it that so many people have lost the job, they have lost the confidence, and it is becoming a egg and chicken story, where that if you don't have the experts available, or labor available, or the industries available, then there will not be the consumption. So let me give you the one example that in the when government has opened up the gas sector, in the CGD sector you will find up, which is dependent upon the domestic and the automotive and the commercial and the industrial. For the clean energy, you will be finding it that number of the industries can only be survive where there is a growth. But how the industry will survive when you won't have the good number of the real estate estates are developed? You will not be able to find the gas for that particular purpose. So there are certain steps which are required to be taken. One of the step is the integration of the technology, like say for the cities, smart cities, where that in Rajasthan also we have the 4 smart cities, and out of the 100 smart cities declared by the government, you will be finding it that they are not also taking up the requisite pace. So government has to be strengthened to play an active role, where the technology is to be integrated, the waste to the biogas, and from biogas to the power, and also to the natural gas. That is one of the options which is required to be taken. Number two, that we have to map out that how a particular time that we are required to integrate the employment with the consumption. Hello. So the my takeaway for this particular conference is, how much time is there? Is that number one, that public sector and the private sector and the state government and the central government, they are required to be synchronized under the one big umbrella where the group of the ministers are formed, and under them there's a think tank which is available to implement the policies in the given timeline. Number two, that we need to find out that from the consumption center, the economy is to be shift to the export oriented. So we amalgamated the two approach. One is the consumption approach. The second one is the export approach. Third one is that we have to see to it that the aspiration of the young people for their employment, it is to be ensured by the way of giving them the trained manpower. Number of the steps for the corona, those are to be taken in the terms of the safety provisions for the people that who are the involved. And the biggest them is the technology, that all efforts are to be technology driven, in the sense that we have to have the all the master plans of the cities, master plan of the states, those are to be digitalized, and the total national digitalized platform should be available. From a person sitting or the one particular investor, he can always see to it that how that particular investment is ready and where the land is available and how that investment is going to be. With this, I end this. Thank you very much for everything.
Wow, that was a great and very inspiring speech. I should compliment you, Mr. Ravi Agrawal, Executive Director,
Yeah.
Marketing, GAIL India Limited. Normally, the last and the concluding session of any event is not very exciting because people are all tired up by that time. But you just feel a lot of energy and passion into this last and concluding session. So with that, I really thank you, and I wish that the valid points raised by you would be taken care of by the policymakers, both at the central level as well as the state level. With this, I shall thank you. Thank you so much for putting your thoughts here at the edition of Elets National PSU Summit 2020. Before we conclude, I would request my backend team to give you a small token of appreciation. My honor to give you, present you with this certificate of participation, Mr. Ravi Agrawal, Executive Director, Marketing, GAIL India Limited. Thank you so much, Mr. Agrawal.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mishra. Thank you, everyone. And I'm really feeling proud of that, being associated with this such a big forum. Thank you so
Same
much.
here. The same here. It was a wonderful whole day program from 9:30 in the morning throughout the afternoon till this last session. We had some eminent speakers throughout the day, and Mr. Suresh Prabhu, the current MP, 10 times MP, and the Prime Minister's Sherpa to G20. He was the chief guest in the afternoon. And before that, there are a lot of speakers from other PSUs as well. So thank you once again, and we conclude here, and we look forward to seeing you in some future forums. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
भारत एक युवा देश है, विश्व में हमने युवाओं की आईटी एनर्जी के माध्यम से अपना एक रुतबा खड़ा किया है और भारत इसके बात के लिए गर्व कर सकता है। दुनिया में हम आंख में आंख मिला करके बात कर सकते हैं। और ये मेरा साफ मैं हमेशा कहता आया हूं, आईटी प्लस आईटी इज इक्वल टू आईटी। इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी प्लस इंडियन टैलेंट इज इक्वल टू इंडिया टुमारो।